that session refer to what we should call a person who make an offer and also the person who make an acceptance. Under the Contract Act 1950, it is stated that for the person who make an offer is known as offeror or promisor, or proposer, the same person. And for the person who make an acceptance is considered as offeree, promisee, proposee. And under the subtopic of offer, we learn about the to whom a proposal or an offer can be made. The proposal or an offer can be made to a particular group, particular person, and also to public. And you also learn about the 5 features of offer and the duration of an offer. We know that an offer will not last long. There will be expired time for an offer, and it is embedded under Section 6 of Contract Act 1950 about the methods of termination of an offer. And then we also discuss about Section 3 in terms of communication of offer and acceptance, where offer and acceptance can be made in writing, oral, and also conduct. And Section 4 relates to the communication of an offer will be complete if an offer reach the knowledge of the offeree. And for the topic of acceptance, we discuss on the definition of acceptance under Section 2B, and we also discuss about the issue of silence, where the English law decide that silence cannot amount to an acceptance. And please refer to what case to support the statement. And we also discuss about the posting rule, i.e. postal rule and also instantaneous rule, when there is clashes of date. So you will give an option, either to make a decision based on postal rule or instantaneous rule. So for postal rule, the communication of contract, the communication of offer and acceptance is complete when the acceptance been made by the offeree. Meanwhile, for the instantaneous rule, the communication of offer and acceptance will be complete for both parties. Means the offer must reach the knowledge of offeree, and the acceptance must reach the knowledge of offeror. And under the chapter of consideration, we discuss about there are 3 types of consideration under Section 2D, and we also learn how to read the wording of the section of 2D. Past consideration, executive consideration, and also executory consideration. And the issue of past consideration, there is a conflict decision by English law and also Malaysian contract law, where English law does not recognize the past consideration. Meanwhile, Malaysian contract law clearly accept consideration, accept past consideration as a good consideration based on Section 2D of Contract Act 1950. And we also discuss about the adequacy of consideration. The court will not entertain about the issue of adequacy or not, which relates to the matter of consideration in a contract. As long as the consideration is there, the consideration is present in a contract, and there is a value, even it is a nominal value, it is enough for court to to accept that the consideration is present in that contract. So you also can refer to case Pang Swee Kim versus Bear IHOP, and also case Nestle. So right now, okay, I would like to show you sample of previous test question, okay, in order for you to familiarize, because we plan to have our test, okay, right after your mid-sem break. Right after your mid-sem break, we will have a test, and the test will be in the form of you do your test with your friends, okay, in pair. Means that it's referred to the group that you have created for the task of mind map before. Okay, so the test will be scheduled after your mid-sem break. Just anyone in this class will have a convocation after mid-sem break. Ada siapa-siapa yang involved dalam convocation ke? Class?
Doktor, sorry, tadi doktor kata apa, the test will be in pairs, is it?
Yes. You would, okay, for test, okay, you will discuss with your friends. Just submit one answer script to me. Okay, means that it is a process of we considered as cooperative learning. Okay, if one of you understand well about certain topics, so that person can help, okay, your friends, okay, in order to understand concept. So we can see here that your quiz, okay, you have done your quiz individually. Your test will be in pair. Your assignment later will give you the topic of assignment, okay, tomorrow, even we will not have class tomorrow, okay, because I have a course. Okay, I will give you an assignment, okay, an assignment that must be done in form of 4 or 5 students in a group on the topic of company and partnership. But that group will not be applied, okay, in answering tests. Okay, for tests will be done in group that you have been created during your assignment of mind map before. Okay. Jadi kalau kata ada kawan yang faham, yang lagi faham, boleh bantu kawan yang tak faham. So you can discuss and the answer, and just submit to me one answer script. And sebenarnya kita rancang lah. Okay, so test will be right after your mid-sem break. Jadi kalau kata ada siapa-siapa yang terlibat dengan convocation, okay, please let me know, okay, who is involved in the convocation, because I know that some other students mungkin akan ada yang naik pentas untuk convocation after mid-sem break. Sorry class, can you hear my voice clearly? In fact, I have my booster jab yesterday. So today I don't know why I'm not feeling not very well. Kalau kata Johor dah cuti hari ini memang okay lah. Tapi memandangkan Johor tak dapat cuti hari ini. So class still on. Okay? So that's why kita buat kelas lah hari ini. Okay, I hope that you can hear my voice clearly. Okay, so looking at this question, okay, your final exam and also test will be in the mode of question, what we call it problematic question or short scenario case. Okay, so short scenario question. So your final exam and your test will be like this. Okay, the question may come in form of direct question or in short scenario, okay, question. So if the question comes to you like this, what you should do is, first of all, you have to figure out what is the issue. What is the issue in this case? Okay, we apply in law, we apply the concept named as IRAC. Okay, I put it in chat box. Okay, IRAC means that you have to identify the issue. I stand for issue. You have to figure out what is the problem, what is the issue in this case first, and then what rule, okay, what rule um, that you that you can apply in order to solve that problems. Okay, R refer to rule, and you have to do analysis. Okay, which part of the question show, okay, show clearly what is the problem for that case. So you have to do an analysis, apply the right rule for that problems again to solve the problem, and at the end of the day, give C conclusion. So what you can conclude, what you uh, from your decision, okay, whether for example from the topic that we have discussed before, we discussed on offer acceptance and consideration that we considered as the basic or foundation of a contract. So is there any contract in that question or not? So you yourself will decide. Okay, with a question like this come to you, you will be lawyer and you also will be judge. Okay, make sure that again you insert if there is relevant section or provision that you have to apply, then you have to apply again section and provision to that issue. And if there is cases, okay, to support your argument, then you have to include case, not just the name of the case, but you have to jot down also, okay, what is the fact of the case, just a little bit, what is the fact of the case, what is the issue in the case that you have to that you have picked, yeah, in order to support your argument. And um at the end of the day, you have to give your judgment, get the decision for the issue, okay, that you want to solve in that question. So referring to this question, you can take time to read this question, read word by word. Okay, the clue will be in the statement, in the statement of the question. This one is 10 marks question. 10 marks question, then we consider that there will be two issues. Okay? 10 marks question. So I give you clue, there are two issues in this question. Try to figure out what is the issue in this question. And the answer will be based on the topic that we have already discussed. Offer, acceptance, and also consideration. Okay, on Saturday, Ben went to a local car dealer, Syarikat Mawar Berduri, Sdn Bhd, Kutai. He saw a second-hand BMW car being displayed with a label on it which says it is yours for RM 150k. He immediately wrote a check and saw the manager. He told the manager, after looking at your notice, I now want to buy the car. He then gave the check, but the manager refused to take it. Ben was so unsatisfied, and after insisting him for a reason, the manager said that Ben did not look like a person who can afford to buy the BMW car. He was sure that the check will bounce. He felt so humiliated. He wanted to take actions against the car dealer under the law of contract. Advise Ben. So the question now needs you to advise Ben, because Ben wants to take action against the car dealer under the law of contract. So the issue here been must be lead to the remedy provided under the law of contract. Okay. So class, looking at this question. This is, I said that there are two issues. So what is the first issue that you can figure out? Advertisement is not a contract. I said that advertisement is not a contract. So which part shows that there is advertisement? Rahul?
Yes, doctor. The part that he saw the BMW price, then immediately wrote the check. That the advertisement is not a contract,
Mm-mm.
like that. I
Okay.
think.
You dah sihat dah?
Dah,
Rahul dah sihat?
doctor. Dah.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, so Roy said that display refer to the display label. Again, display label on it, which it says it is yours for RM 150K. Okay, so the question here is whether this label, which is stated it is yours for RM 150K, is considered as an offer or not. Okay, whether it is considered as an offer or not, the issue here. So it is clear that, okay, we know that from what we have learned. Okay, label, display, goods, tender, auction is not considered as an offer. It is only invitation to trade. Okay? When it is invitation to trade, then there will be no contract. Yeah? There will be no contract. So what case? Again, because we know that to answer the legal question, we have to include the case, okay, to support our argument. So right now we said that label, okay, can be an advertisement, okay, which is known as invitation to trade. It says that there is no such provision which give a definition for invitation to trade, okay, because it is the rule for invitation to trade being laid down under the common law. Tak ada satu pun provision dalam Akta Kontrak 1950 yang menyebut apa definition untuk invitation to trade. Okay. So right now we need a case, okay, to support our argument, okay, to show that, okay, invitation to trade is not an offer. So what case that we can use? Class. Carlyle versus Carbolic. Okay. Remember, okay, when you want to support your argument, try to find the nearest fact of the case which is similar to the problem that you want to settle. Okay, if you look at the case of Carlyle versus Carbolic Small Ball Company, the advertisement in that case, okay, been decided by the court as a contract. Is it true? Okay, look at back the fact of the case of look at back the case of Carlyle versus Carbolic Small Ball Company. Atika cakap tak dengar suara saya, yang lain pun tak dengar suara saya juga ke? Yang lain pun tak dengar suara saya?
No, Doctor. Atika is having lagging right now.
Alright. Okay, sorry. Okay, so in this situation, okay, bila kita guna pakai case Carlyle versus Carbolic Small Ball Company, in that case, okay, if you look at the fact of the case, I already shared with you fakta case Carlyle versus Carbolic Small Ball Company. In that case, it is mentioned, okay, it is held by the court that advertisement in that case is considered as contract because it is not just intention by Carbolic Small Ball Company that they will give compensation for those who are not recovered from the medicine, okay, that have been produced by that company. Okay, the advertisement, okay, made by Carbolic Small Ball Company, okay, coupled with the action, okay, by that company where they have a deposit £1,000, okay, in order to show that they are really have genuine intention to compensate any person, okay, who use their medicine and still not recovered. Okay, that one is the fact under the case of Carlyle versus Carbolic Small Bowel. Sekarang ni kita nak tunjukkan bahawa label ini merupakan satu invitation to treat. So we have to take a case which is clearly decide that it is advertisement is considered as invitation to treat. So any other case yang kita boleh guna pakai. You boleh letakkan, kalau kata you tak ingat sangat dah kes lain, letakkan kes Carlyle versus Carbolic Small Bowel Company, but it is considered as not so strong enough to support your argument. Okay, that's why sometimes itu yang membezakan markah you dengan markah kawan. Okay, if we choose the right case to support our argument, then we'll have chance to get more marks. So case apa yang kita masukkan? Harris versus Nickerson. Okay, thank you, Esther. Okay, look at the fact of the case of Harris versus Nickerson. So in that case, when a man take a train from London to Sandbury Edmonds to attend an auction, an auction of sale of furniture based on the advertisement. When he arrived there, it looks like that there is no event of auction, and he claimed for all the expenses, and also he also has waste his time and also energy to come all the way from London to Sandbury Edmund. So the court later held that the advertisement is considered as invitation to trade. It is not an offer. Okay, so please find case which is more relevant, which is more relevant to support your argument. Okay, you may also can use case Fisher versus Bell, because it is a display goods, but it still shows that the case relates to invitation to trade. Okay? Because we want the decision in that case must be shows that it is an invitation to trade, not an offer. Okay, settle our first issue. Again, then we go to our next issue. So what is the next issue? Okay, make sure that you don't discuss on Ben feeling of humiliation here. Okay, because there is no such provision that can recover that feeling. Yeah, there's no such provision under the law of contract that can recover the feeling of humiliation. And also when Ben think that the manager looked down upon him. Okay, so what is the next issue in this case? Come on, class. I also take note your participation in class. Okay, manager reject Ben offer. Okay, so in this question, the question the statement in the question shows clearly when Ben told the manager, after looking at your notice, I now want to buy the car. So an offer come from Ben here. Okay, after looking at your notice, I now want to buy the car. And the offer come from Ben. He then gave the check, but the manager refused to take it. The offer is there, but no acceptance. The offer is there, but no acceptance. So is there a contract, class? The offer is there, but no acceptance. Okay. no contract. Okay, it is clear that there will be no contract. Okay, when there is an offer but no acceptance, there will be no contract. So what case we want to support our answer right now? Since we said that, okay, there is an offer but no acceptance. Pasal jual pen. Pasal jual pen, which one? Roha, bumper hole pen. Bumper hole pen tu nama ladang. Bump, bumper hole pen
Ah,
ke?
I ingat yang pen-pen tu je. Is it Dr.
Bumper hole pen tu yang jual ladang. Okay. Tak, okay, ada kat situ ada tak menunjukkan ada offer tak? Ada offer tak ada acceptance ke? Cuba look at again the fact of the case. Okay, height versus range, counter offer. Height versus range, more on counter offer. Ada offer, okay, ada tawaran dibuat, and then ada counter offer dibuat. Okay, you may refer to case of Taylor versus Lade. There is an offer but no acceptance. Taylor versus Lade, the captain resigned, okay, during the expedition of sailing of Niger River, and after his resignation, the ship having problem, and the captain steered down the ship safely to the harbor, but the extra service by the captain, okay, were not rewarded were not paid by Lade, the owner of the ship. Okay, so please look at the fact of Taylor versus Lade. There's the offer is there, but no acceptance. Okay, if you use height versus range, you can use height versus range, but it is considered as nearly correct. Okay, CP lah. Sebab dalam kes height versus range, the right issue bila kita nak bincangkan ada wujudnya counter offer, tawaran balas. Ada where the counter offer will reject the original offer. Okay, so look at case of Taylor versus Lade. Okay, so you can make please snap this question. Okay, you can make the draft of your answer, okay, for this question as an exercise. I think I should show you one more question. Okay. Ni Roha dengan Esther je, yang lain bagaimana ni? Come on yang lain. Sekejap I show you. Okay. Itu soalan lain. So untuk test dan juga final exam, the question will be like this. Okay, so kita katakan untuk test ni sebagai satu latihan lah untuk you menjawab soalan legal question. So by the time final exam nanti, you have to do it by yourself. Okay, so yang untuk test ni, when you have an opportunity to discuss with your friends, like the answer, so please use that chance. Okay. Okay, take your time to read the question. Okay, 6 marks question. This one is based on what we have discussed, because like I mentioned to you that your test will cover offer, acceptance and consideration. Yeah. Offer, acceptance and consideration. After this, we will discuss on intention. Intention will not come out in your test. Okay, make sure that everyone sign in your attendance. Okay, while reading the question, you can highlight what is the possible issues in that question. It seems that Atika having problem. She's
I'm trying
out.
to use my phone now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So please snap the question. Okay, for maybe ada kawan-kawan you yang tak dapat nak snap question. Ada someone yang boleh sharekan kat dalam WhatsApp group ke. Okay. Sorry if my voice today is not very clear enough, okay, for you to listen again to my explanation. Okay, I hope that for those yang ada problem, we can ask your friends later, or you can also consult me. Okay, later. Okay, if you look at this question, Alwi sent a letter containing an offer to sell his BMW car. Okay, asyik BMW car je soalan dia. Okay, BMW car for RM120K on 3rd January 2020. Sharon had shown her interest to Alwi in purchasing the car several times in the past. The said letter arrived at Sharon's house on 6th January 2020, but Sharon was abroad for work-related purposes on that day and so could not read it. On 8th January, Alwi telephoned Sharon because he wanted to know her decision. Sharon requested Alwi to give her a few more days to make a decision and later send a letter of acceptance on 10th January. On 12th January, Alwi sold his car to Jackie. Sharon's letter of acceptance reached Alwi on 14th January. Advised Sharon on her chances in winning the case if she decides to bring an actions against Alwi. So ni nak kena lukis lah sikit. 3 January, offer been made by Alwi to Sharon for a car, for a BMW car at the price of RM120K. And they said later, arrive at Sharon's house on 6th January. 3 days after that, the offer letter by Alwi reached Sharon's house, but Sharon was not in the house. Okay, Sharon was not in the house, and after waiting for a few days, after Alwi had already sent an offer letter to Sharon. So we consider that 5 days after that. Alwi telephoned Sharon to know her decision on 8th January. Sharon requested extra time to think. And 2 days after Alwi had telephoned Sharon, Sharon made the decision to accept the offer, i.e. on 10th January. However, Alwi had sold his car to Jackie on 12th January, and the letter of acceptance by Sharon only reached Alwi on 14th January. So sekarang ni, okay. advise Sharon on her chance in winning the case if she decides to bring an action against Alwi. So what is the issue in this case? Right. This one is, the issue is relates to what class? The issue in this case is what is the possible posting rule that can be applied in the situation between Sharon and Alwi. So from what we have learned, okay, about the posting rule, apa yang kita belajar tentang posting rule? Okay, dulu Bashira cakap Byron versus Vance and Howard. Okay. Cara jawab nanti essay or point-point, doktor? Boleh by point form, but you have to remember bila nak letakkan fakta kes dan sebagainya, you have to explain lah. Itu juga bila you letakkan section untuk support your argument, okay, can put in point form. For example, the issue of the case, blah 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 blah, and then you okay, what's rule that you want to apply to that issue problem in order to solve that issue, and how the application be made, and then you put down the conclusion. Okay, so tapi it's still in the form of even it is point form, but it is need to explain. So Nur Basirah cakap Byron versus Vance and Hoven. Okay, so for Byron versus Vance and Hoven, this one is referred to what? Referred to what rule? Okay, under the posting rule, we have a poster rule and also instantaneous rule. So as I mentioned to you, I don't know whether for your class I give you recorded audio for offer acceptance and consideration, right? Or I am having a face to. Oh, okay. So for poster rule, okay, we have to remember that the cycle for postal rule is that A, for example, A make an offer to B, B made an acceptance. So the contract already conclude when B make an acceptance. That one is under postal rule. And for instantaneous rule, A offers something to B, B make an acceptance, and the acceptance must reach A. That one is instantaneous rule. So as I mentioned that for the case that have clashes of date and relates to posting rule, you have an option either to answer the question based on postal rule or instantaneous rule. But what you have to remember is that you have, when you choose the postal rule, so you have to put the right case to support your argument. Okay, if you use the postal rule here, means that you want to help Sharon, because it is clear in the case that Sharon make an acceptance on 10th of January. So it is out of control of Sharon to make sure that the letter will reach Alwi. Okay, so the good contract been formed on 10th of January as been decided in the case of Byron versus Van Hoven. If you want to help Sharon, manakah you rasakan you perlu bantu Sharon, Sharon dapat penerimaan pada 10 Januari, maka kontrak telah pun terbentuk. But you have to choose the right case. So you put the case of Byron versus Van Hoven and put the fact of the case. What is the decision of the court in the case of Byron versus Van Hoven? Okay, the court decide that when the acceptance been done, okay, so the day of the acceptance is considered that the good contract been formed on that day. And if you want to help Alwi, because it is mentioned also, okay, in the question, okay, it is stated that on 12th January, Alwi sold his car to Jackie, because it's also not fair if you think that it's not fair if you not help Alwi in this case. Because Alwi tak tahu pun, okay, Alwi have no knowledge on the letter of acceptance by Sharon. So When you want to have Alvi, then you use instantaneous rule, where in the form in the instantaneous rule, the concept is that again the offer and acceptance must reach both party. Okay? When A make an offer to B, the offer must come to the knowledge of B, and when B make an acceptance, okay, the acceptance must reach the knowledge of A. Okay, so if you want to have Alvi, so you put the case of Antos versus Mal Far East, okay, to support your argument. Okay, wait a minute. I nampak ada soalan. Okay, Rahatannya. It is defendant refuse or extend, then contract will void. Okay. Apa maksud soalan ni, Raha? It is defendant refuse or extend, then contract will void.
Kan kan patutnya Alwi dengan Sharon apa ni Sharon accept dia punya offer tu pada 6 January is it? Is 6 January tapi Sharon minta extend benda ala tu. So kontrak dia macam change contract macam tu ke? Doktor?
6 January offer sampai di rumah Sharon, tapi Sharon tak tahu pasal offer tersebut sebab dia tak ada kat rumah. Kan the statement there on the offer letter arrived at Sharon's house on 6 January, but Sharon was abroad for work-related purposes on that day and so could not read it. Okay, pada 8 January, Alvi sebab tunggu dah berapa banyak hari lah. Kita ada daripada 3 Januari yang dia dah hantar surat tu. Okay. Tapi tak ada juga berita selepas 5 hari. So pada 8 Januari, Alvi telefon Sharon. Lagi cepat lah kalau hantar surat ni, lambat sikit sampai. So telefon Sharon because he wanted to know her decision. At that time barulah Sharon tahu adanya tawaran oleh Ali. Nampak tak? So on 8 January, Alwi telefon Sharon because he wanted to know her decision. Tapi at that time, Sharon baru saja tahu berkenaan dengan offer tersebut. Sebabnya surat yang 6 Januari ni sampai ke rumah dia tak ada. Okay. Sharon was abroad for work. And then Sharon pada waktu tersebut requested Alwi to give her a few more days to make a decision. Okay. And later send a letter of acceptance on 10 January. So kalau if you look at the question, the statement of requested a few more days, bila tak nyatakan dengan jelas berapa hari itu, takkanlah owner ni nak tunggu lama berapa hari. Tak ada statement yang jelas. Okay, lain kata, okay, could you please give me 2 more days and then I will decide. Okay, so it is clear when it is just put a few more days. So it will left Alvi in the situation of macam menunggu buah yang tak gugur lah. Tak ada jawapan apa-apa at that time. Yeah. So it is right, okay, for Alvi to sold his car to Jackie because there is no since the offer is still open, still open, and he also didn't receive any acceptance from Sharon. And the acceptance made by Sharon on 10 of January not reach Alwi. So jelas kat sini dikatakan bahawa surat pada 10 hari bulan tadi, penerimaan dibuat oleh Sharon pada 10 hari bulan, tapi tak sampai kepada pengetahuan Alwi sehinggalah pada 14 Januari baru sampai. Sedangkan 12 Januari, Alwi already sold his car to Jackie. So for the issue relates to posting rule and also there is clashes of date lah. Kita katakan ada clash waktu, tarikh masa kat situ. Then it is up to us whether, if you want to have Sharon, if you want to have Sharon, then you can say that 10 January is considered as the contract has been concluded on that date. Okay, when the acceptance been done based on postal rule. But if you think that it is not fair for Alwi, then you want to have Alwi. If you want to have Alwi, then you can use instantaneous rule. But you have to remember, bila you nak guna pakai postal rule, you kena letakkan kes yang betul untuk support masukkan case Byron versus Van Hoven. Bila you nak guna instantaneous rule to help Alwi, you kena masukkan case Entos versus Mal Far East Corporation. Jangan terbalik lah. So I will look at your answer. Okay. Sama ada you punya formula tu betul atau tidak. Kalau kata you pakai Poster rule, then the case to support must be the right one. Kalau letak pula poster rule to okay, to help Sharon, tapi you guna pakai Entos versus Mal Far East Corporation. So tak kena lah kat situ. So please choose one answer. Okay. It's either you decide in favor of Sharon or in favor of Alwi. Right? Okay, so for our answer, it doesn't matter which side you want to help to in the case. Yes, it doesn't matter which side you want to help to in the case, but you have to remember you have to use again the correct rule. Kena apply rule yang betul lah. Okay, kalau kata you nak pakai poster rule, so case ini hanya akan berakhir pada 10 Januari sahaja. Okay, case ini akan berakhir kat sini 10 Januari. Tapi kalau you nak guna instantaneous rule, then case ini akan berakhir pada 14 Januari. Okay. Clear class? Okay, 6 marks question for this. Okay, so you yourself will decide which rule yang you nak guna pakai. Tapi have to make sure rule mana yang you guna pakai sekalipun, case yang you letakkan mestilah case yang very relevant to that very relevant to solve the issues in that question. Cuba lihat nantilah soalan-soalan yang lepas ataupun mungkin after this when we discuss setiap topik tu nanti kita akan bincangkan contoh soalan untuk setiap satu. Okay, because sometimes for final exam pun soalan kadang-kadang tak jauh beza pun, mungkin tukar situation je lah. Tapi sometimes as student kan bila final exam tu dia akan panik. Kalau kata soalannya you dah buat exercise dalam kelas berkenaan dengan rumah terbakar, tapi bila final exam soalan tu ladang terbakar, dia dah tak boleh nak fikir dah. Sedangkan the application is similar. Rule-nya sama je nak guna pakai, tapi dah panik kan. So jadi keluar pula jawapan yang lain. Sedangkan dah bincang dah dalam kelas. Tapi bila dah seorang-seorang jawab kan, so itulah dia kadang-kadang dia blank. Okay, so we continue our discussion on intention. Okay, class, we still have time. Or maybe we can have a break, 10 minutes break. Continue at 3. Right now, 2:50. Can we have a break, 10 minutes, class? Okay. Okay, so in the meantime, okay, for those who are not sign in your attendance, please sign in your attendance and also go through the notes of intention. Okay, after this, we will discuss the intention. Okay, class, can we continue on the intention? Right. Okay, so for intention, it's not much to discuss. Okay. In fact, for the intention, maybe just a few slides that we will discuss. What is the important point of intention? Okay, if you look at the Contract 1915, okay, there is no such a definition on the intention. Okay, something which is not defined clearly. What is intention? Okay. So intention is something that must be present in a contract in order to make a contract valid. And there are presumption that has been set up by the common law, which relates to intention. Okay. So the presumption is that for social and domestic agreement, the presumption that parties do not intend to create legal relation. So we will divide the agreement into two. Okay, for social and domestic agreement, the presumption is that parties do not intend to have a legal relation, to create legal relation. To create legal relation, if it's referring to the social and domestic agreement, the parties must make sure that the contract must be in black and white form, and also in writing, in order to show that there is an intention there. Because the general principle is that, okay, for social and domestic agreement, there is no intention. And to make sure that there is an intention for social and domestic agreement, the contract must be done in black and white or writing. Okay? For example, dalam satu contract uh, uh, between father and son. A father want to transfer a piece of land to his son, and we know that there um, there is close relationship between father and son, and the relationship of both of them um, might be fall under the exception of section 26. Okay, if the contract without consideration, under section 26 exception of 8, state that if the contract been made on account of natural love and affection, okay, uh, the contract is considered as a valid contract even without consideration. Okay, if the father want to transfer the land um, to the son, father promised to transfer the land, a piece of land to the son, then the contract must be in form of writing or black and white. It not just based on oral or spoken agreement. If it is based on oral or spoken agreement, then we can say that it is no intention there. So it could be a sweet promise only. Boleh dikatakan sebagai janji manis sajalah. So kalau kata nak enforcekan the promise made by the father to the son, because the issue of consideration is not a problem here, because we know that it might fall under exception of the section 26, an agreement without consideration. The father can give away to the son a piece of land and no consideration from the son to the father. But when we talk about intention there, in order to include the intention, the contract must be in writing or black and white. If it is not, then we presume that parties do not intend legal relation. Yes, because right now we discuss about intention. Intention is something that we cannot touch, we cannot see. Niat ni hanya dekat dalam hati saja. Kalau orang kata ambil lah kapak belah dada tak nampak pun intention kalau you belah dada sekalipun. Cannot say about the intention of someone. So the intention can only be seen from the conduct gesture of someone. So for social domestic agreement, we can see the intention through the written document. Okay? And for business or commercial agreement, the presumption is that parties do intend to create legal relation. For business or commercial agreement, a small ticket, a small coupon, okay, a small ticket, a small coupon is enough to show that there is an intention, okay? There is a contract there. Dah jelas dah menunjukkan. Cukup dengan sekeping tiket yang kecil saja. So if you park your car, okay, you press the button, okay, and then the ticket is out. Okay, so the ticket is considered as a contract between you and the management of the parking. You use the service there and you have to pay, yeah, according to the hours that you use the service. Ataupun you pergi kedai runcit, okay, to buy your groceries. Just a little groceries, yeah, for daily groceries. For example, you take egg, sugar, bread, okay, sardine, okay, satu tin sardine, just 4 items. Then you bring, okay, the goods to the cashier. Masa you serahkan barang tersebut, okay, and means that you make an offer and the cashier will accept. Yeah, and later on there will be exchange of consideration there lah. Okay, di mana you akan dapat barang and then the cashier akan dapat wang daripada you. Okay. So there is no such black and white agreement, tak ada ditulis dekat situ. Okay, tak ada agreement black and white, tak ada dokumen yang mengatakan okay pada tarikh 1 hari bulan 12 2021 on the date of okay 1st December 2021 at 3:08 PM Roha Adelina, okay, IC number sekian the address, okay, beli barang apa, list down kan 4 item tadi, okay, telah melakukan transaksi di kedai runcit Krishna for example, dan pembelian melibatkan harga berapa-berapa. Letakkan tangan you, letakkan tangan cashier. Tak ada pun that agreement, that contract in order to show, tak perlu pun in order to show the intention, because we know that for business or commercial agreement, the presumption is that parties do intend to create legal relation. And the issue here is only refer to social and domestic agreement. So kalau kata untuk social domestic agreement, okay, if you want to lend your money to your brother, okay, adik you nak pinjam duit sebanyak RM10,000, so you have to make sure there is proper contract there. The proper contract, the contract must be in a black and white. Kalau tak, nanti you nak claim balik tak dapat lah, because we consider that the contract have no intention because it involves social and domestic agreement. Sama juga situasinya if a husband promise to a wife, okay, next week your birthday, I nak beli you satu rantai emas, rantai emas lah, yeah. Tapi sampai minggu depan, sampai bulan depan, husband tak bagi-bagi juga. Okay, the promise hanya dibuat secara oral sahaja, tak dibuat secara tertulis. So you cannot enforce the promise because we presume that for social and domestic agreement, the parties do not intend to create legal relation. So in order to enforce that agreement, bila husband berjanji je, record. Okay, kalau record tu maksudnya dah ada bukti yang jelas lah kat situ. Sebab nak tulis tak sempat pula, so dia ulang balik, recordkan. To make sure that adanya evidence that to show that, okay, even tak sempat, kakak tak sempat nak tulis sekalipun, so at least ada bukti juga. Yeah. Okay, in order to enforce and also include the intention in that promise. Okay. So let us look at the case, okay, for social and domestic agreement. Okay. So for social and domestic agreement, you have to refer to two cases, Balfour versus Balfour and also Merritt versus Merritt, because the decision in these two cases is different. The judgment dalam kes ini berbeza. In order to, it's easy for you, in fact, to recognize the case is involve spouse. Okay, when the name of the case is A versus A, B versus B, M versus M, means that the case involve spouse, pasangan. Okay, Balfour versus Balfour, Merritt versus Merritt. So we know that for social and domestic agreement, no intention is presumed to exist. Okay, no intention is presumed to exist. So in the case of Balfour versus Balfour, 1912, a very old case, because we have to discuss the case which is considered as landmark of certain principle. Yeah. So in this case, the husband and wife, were not living together. If you look at the fact of the case, okay, the husband has been moved from London to Sri Lanka, and before that husband berpindah ke Sri Lanka, the husband promised to the wife to give 30 pound salary, 30 pounds 30 pound of money every month, okay, for the expenses of the wife. And the promise is made via oral. Okay, there is no black and white contract at that moment. Okay, the husband, okay, sebelum berpindah tu just cakap pada wife bahawa every month he will send the wife 30 pound. Okay, 30 pound untuk belanjaan. Okay, apa yang berlaku? Setahun wife tunggu, tak ada. 2 tahun berlalu, masih juga tiada 30 pound yang dijanjikan oleh husband for every month. So, the wife bring the case to court after waiting for 2 years. And the court held that, okay, we know that for social and domestic agreement, when the contract is not been made in a writing, then we presume that there is no intention to create legal relation there. So ini macam janji manis semua lah kalau kita kata. Okay, sweet promise je. Sweet promise ni banyak lah orang janji, hari-hari orang janji sweet promise, lepas tu tak tunaikan. Itulah biasanya. Okay. However, in the case of Merritt versus Merritt, okay, where the husband and wife are separated. Okay, so in this situation, and the husband and wife, during their marriage, the husband promised to the wife. And the promise been put in writing. Okay. The husband promised the wife that he will pay 40 pound every month for the payment of the house that they are living right now. Okay. So, maksudnya rumah yang mereka duduki tu husband cakap husband akan bayar 40 pound every month, and when the payment of the house is over, the house will be transferred to the house. The house will be transferred to the wife. No matter what is the situation between both of them. Yeah. The husband will transfer the said house to the wife. After he finish, okay, pay the amount of the house. And what happened is that after that they got divorced. Okay? The divorce between the husband and wife give a chance, okay, for the wife to enforce the contract that have been created, okay, between both of them. The wife, okay, bring the document to the court and claim, okay, from the husband that the husband has already promised to pay 40 pound every month, and the husband also promised to pay the house till the payment of the house is end. Then dekat sinilah kita katakan the contract in form of formal document that has been made between the husband and wife can be enforced in the court, and even it is a social and domestic agreement because it is put in writing, then the intention is there. So ada perbezaan dari sudut fakta dan juga mode of form of agreement between case Balfour versus Balfour and also married versus married. So banyak case kat dalam slide untuk intention ni. So you just have to look at case yang relevant sajalah. Cukup case yang kalau cukup case you guna pakai case Balfour versus Balfour dan juga married versus married. Itu dah enough dah untuk membezakan for social and domestic agreement, because we know that general principle is that there is no intention in social and domestic agreement in order to make it a real contract. By include the element of intention, the contract must be in writing. And for business or commercial agreement, as per we discussed just now, a small coupon, a ticket can be considered as a contract, business or commercial agreement, and the intention is there. You go for a movie, watching movie at cinema, you receive a ticket, then that ticket is enough to show that you already have a contract there. You have entered business or commercial agreement there. And for the a piece of coupon, even it is small coupon, it is enough to show that there is a contract. It is as been stated in the case of Jones versus Winspool. But in order to make it easy for you, for business or commercial agreement, you just can use Carlyle versus Carbolic Small Ball Company. You look at the fact of the case again. Carlyle versus Carbolic Small Ball Company. Right now, we want to use the case, and the case that have been discussed in the topic of offer, to whom a proposal can be made. A proposal can be made to public at large, based on the case of Carlyle versus Carbolic Small Ball Company. But right now, that case we want to use for the element of intention. So by looking at the fact of the case of Carlyle versus Carbolic Small Ball Company, which part show the element of intention? Sekarang ni kita nak manipulatekan case Carlyle versus Carbolic Small Ball Company. Kita nak guna pakai untuk business or commercial agreement for the issue of there is an intention for business or commercial agreement. The presumption is that the intention is there between both parties to create legal relation. So berdasarkan fakta, based on fact of the case of Carlyle versus Carbolic Small Ball Company, which part yang menunjukkan adanya intention? Come on class. Ada anyone yang nak cuba jawab? Offer 100. Offer 100. Please expand sedikit jawapan you, Roha. Offer 100.
The advertisement were made by the defendant where they were willing to offer £100 to anyone who will still suffer influenza.
Okay. So the advertisement that we considered as at the first place is considered as invitation to trade, but later on been decided by the court as a contract. Because it's not just the intention by Carbolic Small Ball Company to compensate anyone who are not recover from the usage of medicine that they have produced. So right now, what we can say that the intention there is a good intention. Okay? It's a genuine intention in order to give compensation to any victims, and the intention later on be coupled with action where the Kabalik Small Ball Company has deposited 1,000 pound, yes, in order to show the adanya intention kat situ. Okay. So untuk memudahkan you, jadi kalau kata untuk you nak buat nota, so for the intention we know that the presumption is that for social and social or domestic agreement, the presumption is that no intention there to create legal relation between parties, as per in case of Balfour versus Balfour. Okay, but in the case of married versus married, the decision is different. When again the contract been done in writing, then it shows clearly that there is an intention for both parties to enter into that contract. For business or commercial agreement, the presumption is that there is an intention, even it is the contract based on small ticket or coupon, and you can include the case of Kalal versus Kabolit Small Ball Company to show that the intention, the unit intention by Kabolit Small Ball Company to give compensation to any victim that used their medicine. So you can make your own summary, okay, for this topic. So as I mentioned, okay, that the Contract Act is silent regarding the provision relating to intention to create legal relation. And there is no such section discussed on what is the meaning of intention. Yeah. So hence principles of common law. So that's why we discussed the case of Balfour versus Balfour, even it is very old case, 1912 cases, 1970 case. But that one is set up by the common law. Okay, and case law will determine the requirement. So the intention is determined by the courts by looking at the words spoken or written by parties, and also by seeing whether the statement made by the parties can be construed as terms of a contract. Okay, so that's all for the topic of intention. You can read. Okay, this one ni lebih kepada contoh-contoh case lain lah. Okay, for your test and also for your final exam, it's enough to include only one case for every point. Letakkan satu case pun dah cukup, yeah, to support your argument. Okay, so is there any question referring to the chapter of intention?
Doctor,
Yes.
I have a
Is there?
question, but it's not about intention.
Okay.
Yeah, the chapter
So it's
I'm
regarding
here
of what?
just it's regarding about the test that just now Doctor mentioned.
Yes.
So we'll be sitting for the test in pair, right? Like from
Yeah.
the previous group, when we do the mind map. But the
Yeah.
previous group we have 3 members in one group, so it will be 3 of us doing one test. Is it?
Okay. For your group, okay, section 1, during my map, you do it in 3 members. Okay, so then your test also will be in 3.
Okay, okay.
Right?
And then
Because
for
I thought
the
that I have given you only ni pair. So kalau kata 3 members, then you will do it in 3.
all right. And then for the group assignment that later we will be doing, the members will be 4 to 5 people, right?
Okay, so your groups right now, what is the total number of your section 1?
I'm not so sure.
I need only 5 to 6. Maybe 5. The most is 7 groups. Okay, maybe 6, 5 to 6 is enough. Okay, for the assignment of partnership and also company.
So it's 5 to 6 people in one group.
maybe if we can make 7, so 7, I'm not sure. Right. Okay, wait. Look at the number in 25 students. Are you sure? I cannot recall the number of the students. Okay, let me look at the kehadiran kelas kejap. Section 1. Ikutkan attendance list here. In my UTM, there's 36 student for section 1. 36 student. So can 36 student if we form groups in 5, 7. Okay, 5 members. 5 members in a group.
Then
5
one
members
group
in a
will
group,
have 6
and there will be
members.
one group, 6 members. Okay,
Yeah,
5
okay.
members. Okay, so the 7 we can create 7 groups here. Okay, 5 members. 5 members in a group. So one group will be 6 members. Okay, by looking at the number, okay, of the students in the system. Yeah, 36 students altogether for section 1.
So there will be one group only that will be having
Yeah.
6 people.
Yeah. Okay, untuk assignment nanti dalam group yang ramai lah untuk buat. Okay, because you have to study something that I'm not teach you. Okay, this one is considered as the way of problematic problem solving study. Okay, where you have to learn by yourself again, and the learning process through the discussion with your friends. Okay, and then present the output in front of the class. And if there is any lack of information, or if you given the wrong information or lack of information, I will correct. Okay, I will give correct information for that. So this is considered as a problem, a PBL, okay, problem-based learning study. Okay, so for partnership and also company law. Okay, because if you look at the course outline, okay, the study week, okay, for partnerships and only 1 week, company also will be 1 week. So it is more what we considered as surface, okay, surface information on partnership and also company. So I will give you the subtopic that you will be discussed, okay, in groups, and later share the information that you have with your friends. Okay, jadi setiap kumpulan nanti bila slide tu dah lengkap, kalau saya kata okay, your slide can be proceed, tak perlu ada amendment, then you can share the slides with your friends. Okay, setiap orang nanti akan dapat lah slide kawan-kawan yang lain juga untuk study, because the final exam will include the question on partnership and company. Okay, so no worries. The instruction about the assignment, okay, I will put it in your e-learning, okay, maybe tomorrow. And then you can form your own group of 5 or 6 members. Okay, so only one group will be 6 members. But for your test, it will be in 3 members only. Okay, is that clear? Class?
Okay.
Okay, we have 30 minutes more. I think I still can continue with the class. Okay, just around 15 minutes more. So right now we will discuss on voidable contract. Discuss on voidable contract. The notes been shared in your e-learning. Okay, for voidable contract, the meaning of voidable contract can be seen in the Contract Act 1950. But before we discuss what the definition of voidable contract, we look at the Section 2H first. Okay? By virtue of Section 2H of the Contract Act 1950, contracts are defined as agreements enforceable by law. However, with the presence of vitiating factors, it will have an impact on the enforceability of the said agreement. So all contracts here, okay, contracts are defined as an agreement that can be enforced by law. So the agreement that can be enforceable by law is referred to the valid agreement. Okay? And if the valid agreement have an element of vitiating factors, faktor-faktor yang mencemari suatu contract, then the contract later on will be decided as a voidable contract. So void is batal. Voidable, void plus able. Boleh batal. Okay, voidable contract. So for the voidable contract, definition of voidable contract is that by virtue of section 2I. At the first place, the voidable contract is a valid contract, but later on, okay, when the existence of vitiating factors is there, the contract is considered as a voidable contract, and it is an option. It gives an option to the parties involved in the contract to decide whether to proceed with the contract or to terminate the contract. So we can say that again, it is an enforceable contract until it is set aside by one party of the contract. Satu kontrak yang asalnya adalah satu kontrak yang valid, but later on we find that there is vitiating factors there, faktor-faktor yang mencemari satu kontrak. So faktor-faktor yang mencemari ni can be, okay, vitiating factors can be duress, force or coercion, benda yang sama. Duress, force, coercion, benda yang sama. So kalau kata the question come to you, okay, duress, force, coercion, benda yang paksaan. Bahasa Melayu. Duress, force, coercion, and the same thing. Undue influence, pengaruh tak berpatutan. Fraud, tipu, mistake, silap, misrepresentation, salah nyata. So all of this is considered as vitiating factors, faktor-faktor yang mencemari suatu kontrak. The factors that can stain the valid contract and resulted to a voidable contract. So for the voidable contract, it is a valid contract at the first place, but later on when it is found that there is an element of vitiating factors, either it is duress, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation or mistake, then it gives an option to the parties involved in the contract either to proceed with the contract or terminate the contract. Contohnya, kalau kata seseorang has been forced to enter into a contract. A been forced to enter into a contract, okay, by B, where B put a knife in the neck of A. Okay, bagi ugutan dekat dia, threaten again the life of A there. Okay, so A in this situation have no choice. Just again, he entered the contract. Then the contract at the first place is considered as a valid contract. But in order to make the contract a voidable contract, okay, kontrak yang boleh diterminatekan di atas alasan ada unsur paksaan there, then A must bring the case to court and challenge the validity of that contract on the grounds of existence of duress. Dia yang kena buktikan bahawa pada masa perjanjian dibuat, dia dipaksa untuk join contract. But we have to remember, in order to enforce something in court, okay, if we enter into a contract, we will be given 6 years. Okay, 6 years, a period of time to challenge the validity of the contract. Kita jangan tidur di atas hak kita lah. We cannot sleep on our right. Jangan tunggu sampai 10 tahun baru nak cakap kita dipaksa. For example, someone been forced to enter into a marriage. Paksa rela lah kita kata. Dipaksa untuk memasuki satu perkahwinan. Okay, and that time the bride feels that, okay, pengantin perempuan merasakan kalau kata dia tak join, okay, kontrak perkahwinan tersebut, mak ayah dia akan malu. Okay. Think about the reputation of the family. Okay. Think about the feeling of family. So dia kahwin. Okay. But secara terpaksa, kita kata paksa rela. And if she want to challenge the validity of that contract of marriage, okay, jangan tunggu sampai 20 tahun dah ada anak cucu semua, baru nak cakap 20 tahun lepas dipaksa masuki perkahwinan. Okay, at that time, kita katakan dia dah tidur di atas right dia. Okay, we cannot sleep on our right. We were given, okay, under the Evidence Act, we will be given 6 years to bring the case to court. 6 tahun. So, based on, again, Section 2H and also Section 2I, it is clear that, okay, voidable contract, at the first place, is a valid contract, but due to the elements of vitiating factors, the contract later on be decided as a voidable contract. And other relevant provision for this chapter, okay, for this voidable issue, Section 10, subsection 1. Okay, all agreements are contract. This one is the wording under the Contracts 1950. All agreements are contract if they are made by the free consent of parties. Yes, semua perjanjian adalah kontrak sekiranya dimasuki secara sukarela. All agreements are contract if they are made by freedom. There's no element of force, duress, okay, coercion. There is no element of undue influence, mistake, fraud, misrepresentation there. And under Section 13, okay, it's elaborate what is the meaning of consent there. Okay, consent means freedom to contract, mutual assent. Kita masuki kontrak tersebut secara sukarela, secara bebas, mutual assent. Okay, both party agreed to enter to that contract, as well as consensus ad idem. Consensus ad idem is Latin word, can refer to understand the same meaning. Understand the same meaning in relation to terms agreed upon by parties in a contract. So if the contract involves a motorcycle, for example, so A offer B a motorcycle. So B must understand it is a motorcycle, not a bicycle. Okay, so we say that consensus ad idem. Okay, so meeting of mind is there. Understand the same thing. Okay, understand the same thing. So Section 14, okay, consent is free if it is not caused by all the elements of vitiating factors. So if you can see here, yeah, the sequence of sequence of sections or provision, okay, relates to the vitiating factors. Yeah. Coercion, Section 15, undue influence, Section 16, fraud, Section 17, misrepresentation, Section 18, and then mistake, Section 21, 22, and 23. So kita nampak ada susunan dekat sini, susunan dia cantik. So you have to, in order for you, okay, to easy memorize the vitiating factors and also the relevant section for each vitiating factors, you follow sequence ni lah. Okay, coercion section 15, undue influence section 16, fraud section 17, misrepresentation section 18, and also mistake section 21, 22, and 23. As I mentioned to you that to answer legal question, you have to include section and also cases, okay, relevant section and also decided cases. So we go to the first vitiating factors. Coercion, section 15. Okay. Coercion been defined as committing any act or threatening to commit any act forbidden by the penal code or the unlawful detaining or threatening to detain any property to the prejudice of any person whatever with the intention of causing any person to enter into an agreement. Okay, all the statement here is the wording under the Contract Act 1915, Section 15. Ini bukan ayat saya. Okay, the one, again, it's been stated under the Contract Act 1950. Okay, let us look at the Contract Act 1950. Okay, the one that have been shared with you. Saya dah share dengan you all. Apa ni? Contract Act 1950. Kita cuba lihat. So, cuba apa ni? Untuk memudahkan you all belajar bab kontrak ni, you have to have with you, okay, beside of you, Contract Act 1950, which is print it, okay? Ataupun adakan satu lagi device untuk memudahkan you lihat, okay, what is the relevant section that we discuss. Sorry, I want to show you, okay, the definition of coercion just now. Okay, we discussed about the definition of coercion. Okay, first let us look at the relevant provision that I've just mentioned to you. Section 2H. Okay, we mentioned about Section 2H. An agreement enforceable by law is contract, and the definition of voidable under Section 2I. An agreement which is enforceable by law at the option of more, one or more of the parties thereto, but not the option of the others or others. Yeah, other or others is avoidable contract. Okay, the one that we have discussed again just now, Section 2I, Section 2H, Section 2I. Kita dah discuss. Okay, then we want to look at the Section 10. This one you can see here that about voidable we mentioned here. Okay, so relevant provision on voidable contract can be seen under Section 10. Okay, and also other section, okay, under Part 3 of Contract Act 1950. So all agreements are contract if they are met by the free consent of parties. So kita nampak guys tu. Okay, semua perjanjian adalah kontrak sekiranya dimasuki secara sukarela. Yeah. And the meaning of consent later on be discussed, okay, under Section 13. Two or more persons are said to consent when they are agree upon the same thing in the same sense. Okay, the one that discussed forward in the in order to make sure that the element of consent is there, the contract must be entered freely, mutual assent is there, and also consensus ad idem. Okay, we understand. Okay, the both party understand the same thing. Okay, agree upon the same thing in the same sense. And Section 14 also a relevant section for voidable. Okay, free consent here. Consent is said to be free when it is not caused by blah blah blah. Okay, A till E. The one that I put it. Okay, coercion, Section 15, undue influence, Section 16, fraud, Section 17, misrepresentation, Section 18, mistake, Section 21, 22, and 23. So all of that in the Contract Act 1950, the one that I've been shared with you. Okay, so consent is said to be so caused when it will not have been given but for the existence of such coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, and mistake. Then we want to discuss the first element of mitigating factors, i.e. coercion. So coercion here, okay, the one that I've put in the slide. Coercion is the committing or threatening to commit any act forbidden by the penal code, or the unlawful detaining or threatening to detain any property to the prejudice of any person whatever, with the intention of causing any person to enter into an agreement. Okay, so dalam slide tu saya dah letakkan, saya dah mudahkan untuk you nampak bahawa there are 4 element of coercion. Okay, so the way kita nak baca coercion ni macam ni lah. Okay, the first coercion is refer to the committing any act, okay? Committing to the prejudice of any person whatever with the intention of causing any person to enter into an agreement. That one is the first. Lakukan apa saja perbuatan yang menyebabkan prejudice kepada orang lain, okay, dengan niat untuk menyebabkan orang tersebut memasuki kontrak. That one is the first. Okay, kita buat je apa saja perlakuan. Kita ancam dia, okay, kita letakkan pisau di leher dia. Satu cara nak buat paksaan. Ataupun kita ugut untuk sebarkan gambar yang tak sepatutnya ke apa. So, we said that we have done the coercion there. And threatening to commit any forbidden by the penal code to the prejudice, okay, of any person whatever with the intention of causing any person to enter into an agreement. That one is the second one. Kita mengancam, threatening to commit any act forbidden by the penal code. Kita mengancam untuk melakukan apa saja perbuatan yang dilarang dalam kanun keseksaan. So we know that, okay, the offences, the criminal offences been listed in the penal code. If we threaten to abduct someone, okay, kita ancam untuk menculik seseorang. Katakanlah A force B to enter into a contract. Kalau dia tak join contract tersebut, anak dia akan diculik. So threatening to commit any act forbidden by the penal code. Ataupun if B tak nak join contract tersebut, isteri B akan dibunuh. Okay, something which is the offences which is listed under the penal code. And the third one, okay, coercion juga refer kepada the unlawful detaining or detaining to, okay, the unlawful detaining, okay, yang kat sini kita berhenti kat sini, the unlawful detaining to the prejudice of any person whatever with the intention of causing any person to enter into an agreement. Kita detain orang secara salah, kita tahan seseorang secara salah. Maksudnya kita kuncikan seseorang, for example, dalam bilik, dalam rumah, kita manggakan rumah tersebut, orang tu tak boleh keluar sebagai satu paksaan untuk dia join contract. Itu unlawful detaining. Atau kuncikan dia kat dalam kereta tak boleh keluar. So we consider that one is penahanan secara tak sah. Okay, yang keempat, threatening to detain any property to the prejudice of any person whatever with the intention of causing any person to enter into an agreement. That one is the last one. Okay, itu juga merupakan satu daripada paksaan di mana kita mengancam untuk menahan harta seseorang. Kita tak nak paskan harta dekat dia selagi dia tak sign tanda tak. Okay, tak letakkan tanda tangan dia untuk agreement sekian-sekian. So all of that is considered as an action which is lead to coercion, paksaan. So the person who enter into a contract which consists of coercion means that, okay, they have entered without free consent. Okay. So right now 3:49, I think we have to stop here. Okay, so please look at the notes. Okay, even I know that you will have your your mid-sem break next week, okay, but in the meantime boleh juga lihat nota. Mungkin after your mid-sem break our class agak laju sikit lah, dan test pun saya tak boleh gunakan masa kelas. Okay, so maybe I will decide to give you take home test, okay, but you have to do it okay, in 3 members. Manakala you perlu discuss, so you need time lah. Kalau you buat seorang, mungkinlah you boleh fikir seorang-seorang. Tapi because you need to meet your friends, okay, and discuss, so I will give it as a take home test. Yeah. akan bagi masa, so kita tak akan kacau waktu kelas lah. But we try, okay, we try to finish other parts, okay, of syllabus. Okay. So kelas so far ada soalan ke berkenaan dengan apa yang kita dah bincangkan? Okay, we will continue to finish about other elements of avoidable contract. This is considered as a phase dulu lah. Tak sentuh in detail lagi setiap elements of mitigating factors. And sorry, okay, again, suara saya tak ceria sangat hari ni. Okay. Ada soalan? Before we end here. Okay, so thank you everyone. Kita jumpa lagi after your mid-sem break. Okay, and tomorrow I will give instruction, okay, for your assignment. Okay, I put it in your e-learning, but if there is anything that is not clear, then you may ask, okay, in WhatsApp group. Okay, so thank you everyone. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Doctor. Take care.
Okay, thank you.